Yes, it's Thursday, the 3rd of February. It's time for some midweek lunchtime therapy with myself, Mr. Silvafox, the Aussie Gooner, Travis, and GunnerKing 14. Let's go! Like I said, it's therapy. Therapy. Did you like that intro, boys?
That intro was ridiculous. Why is it so long?
No, I got a lot of time for getting Alex Scott in there, man.
Oh, man. That was so long.
That's my girl, man.
Where's the skip intro button on Netflix? Skip intro. Jesus, let's get into it.
I just thought it was a nice way to just calm everyone down a little bit. A little bit, a longer intro with some memories,
Make the Alex Scott section longer, please.
I knew you'd say that.
Go back to the good old days, eh? Go back to the good old days when shit was fucking actually happening at Arsenal, not just shit.
You tell him.
Oh, fuck, bro.
The good old days. Yep.
Oh, fuck, bro.
Well, what window?
The all or nothing days, man. The all or nothing days. Now, fuck me, mate. Fuck me, the shambles we're in now. Fuck me.
I can't wait for this documentary, I tell you.
What that fucking, what is it? What is it? Is it Amazon or that bullshit?
Amazon, yeah. It's going to win awards. If it doesn't, I'll be surprised.
Oh, fuck,
King's
mate.
shaking his head. King, talk to me, man. You talk to me, King.
This is where they're going to get the money in the next transfer window. They just keep doing fucking show after show. It'll be like the fucking Kim Kardashian shit, but Arsenal version. We'll do it every fucking year and be able to buy players. Fuck's sake. Well, at least it'll be interesting, eh? We'll fucking get a lot of viewers. Fuck. Tottenham fans fucking can't wait to fucking pay for that. Fuck me.
It's definitely the most viewed all or nothing they've done, surely. It's going to be. That's what we do. We're a gift, didn't we? We are a gift.
Gift, curse,
King, you look lost for words, mate.
I'm in two minds. So look, obviously I've slept on it. I've thought about things, and look, I feel like categorically, without question, we had to strengthen, this January. We had to. Reasons being, I've given them before. I don't want to go over them again. You're 2 points behind top four, when in the previous 2 seasons you finished 8th. And you're really starting to lose steam in this who runs London race, man. I mean, how many more times am I going to be able to successfully debate this with a Chelsea fan that we're still bigger, and these things matter, man, because it's always been that way. Yeah, it's always been red, and slowly but surely it's turning blue. Chelsea are in another final. That's the 7th. That's the 7th in almost as many years that they've been in. They've got the World Club Cup as well. They win that. That's another trophy. Yeah. And we are in very serious danger of what Spurs were in danger of. I remember 2003. Chelsea had less trophies. They were far smaller, and they've dwarfed them. They've left them for absolute dead. Left them, yeah. And the only club they've got left to leave now is us. And some are saying they've already done it with their Champions League wins. So for me, top 4 sooner rather than later, and then not stopping at top 4 and going for a league title and going for a Champions League and going hell for leather to add more of that, to add more league titles and Champions League, and add a Champions League title to our history. This should be of the utmost importance, and it gives the optics that not signing a player where we're in this position gives out. Like, it's the wrong message. It's the wrong message. You know, it just says, you know, after all the years of being accused of lacking ambition, you went and you had a very ambitious summer transfer window to shut the haters up and to get the fans on board, which you did. And then you just went to your old ways. And that kind of gives out another optic of you're only going to do things for appeasement. You're never going to be proactive about doing things. You're just going to do things when you're backed into a corner to appease certain fans and to appease the rivals and the media and all this. Like, that's not what we want. We want a proactive, forward thinking, get shit done board, you know, that will make sacrifices, that will do what needs to be done, yeah, to stop what is happening from happening at the moment. So that's one way of looking at it. But the other way as well, which I do think it needs balance, yeah, is we've panic bought before. We have panic bought before. We have rushed into decisions before that haven't worked out. We have gone to a great effort to unpick and unravel the mistakes of like successive managers. And do we really want to undo that? You know, like Isak, 75 million, right? It was there to be done. Having said that, though, at 22 years old, coming in at that expense, that's a huge amount of pressure for a guy with no pre-season to come in with at January. You know, and like the moment
we were never interested in Isak. We were never interested in him.
Bro,
Not in this window, anyway.
We were. We made a bid.
Bro.
We made a bid, so we were interested.
We make bids. We make bids.
We made a bid, Tony. Like, I'm not doing this. We made a bid.
No, we're not.
Day
We're
before
not
deadline day,
million
made a 58 million pound bid. You don't make a 58 million pound bid for players you're not interested in.
They wanted 75, bro. They wanted 75, bro. They said, you want him to get the release clause out. The reason why they wanted 75 is because late, bro. And if we really wanted him, we would have put the 75 up. Bro, this is smoke and mirrors, bro. It's simple. They weren't going to sign no one now. You know why? Because their budget's about 150 to about 180, 185 a season. Yeah. They already spent most of it. So all they did was fucking dangle the fucking keys for us, make shitty bids, and drag out the Vlahovic thing when they knew this wasn't going to happen, bro. This sounds horrible, I know. But it's the fucking reality. This fucking prick, fucking Cronky, yeah? And everyone's looking at Arteta, the board, bro. They're all been hired by him, yeah? I'm the boss. I'm king shit. I don't want to spend money. I didn't buy Arsenal to win trophies. Remember that? So what happens is I just sit here pretty and let everyone run after Arteta, Edu, and all the other fucktards, yeah, that I fucking hired to continue running this club with fucking band-aids. The reason why they spent 156, bro, right, with the squad that we had. You saw how the season started. Pretty fucked up. That's how it was. We were copping these. The reason why they spent it is because for us to say somewhere in the mix, in that top 8, we needed to spend it. Or we'd be fucking sitting in 13th, 14th. Yeah? So they spent it to patch us up. Remember what Wenger used to do? Did the same fucking thing. And then when it came to biting the bullet and making a real move, bruh, a move, doesn't have to be a striker. Fuck the striker. We got gaps in the midfield. We could have got a centre midfielder, a decent one, right? We didn't make a move for either. Now, you can't tell me if you're in this mix, anyone out there, if you're in the mix, that you're not going to have strikers looking at and centre midfielders looking at, because we got Xhaka in the middle of the park, we got Lacazette and Nketiah up front, and we knew we were moving AUBAMEYANG on. Yeah? So if we were really ambitious and we wanted top 4, which I know we don't, right? Because if we get top 4, we got to spend more money again, right? Then we would have signed someone. We wouldn't have said 20 days on fucking Vlahovic. We would have said, Vlahovic doesn't want to come here. He wants to make it fucking hard. Fuck you, Vlahovic. This is Arsenal Football Club. We don't need your monkey ass. Fuck off, cunt. And we would have knocked on the door on someone else. This is Arsenal Football Club. We didn't do that. We just ran the shit out. Okay, fuck Vlahovic. Let's go for a fucking midfielder. Knock, knock, knock. Hello, Leicester. Fuck you. January 6th, I want Tielemans. You're going to pay over the top money. I'll fucking pay it. I'm Arsenal Football Club. You get Tielemans in. They got plenty of time to sign someone else. They'll sell. Leicester are sellers as long as you give them time to buy. But we didn't do that.
It's not that simple though. Like,
yeah, I know what you're saying, but at least you make a move, bruh. Don't make fake moves. Don't tell me 58 million for Isak.
They weren't fake moves. Like, I think Vlahovic, it was a sacrifice we were willing to make it for that player, right? And that player chose not to come to us.
He was
but ultimately,
it wasn't coming regardless. If you look at it,
it's never as simple as paying. It's never as simple as paying over the odds in terms of transfer fees and wages for one player, because what happens is you go to buy another player and it's like, all right, you got your pants pulled down, yeah, and you paid 75 million because you were desperate to get Isak. The price was 20 million, but because you did that, it's 30. And then on top of that, hang on a second, Aussie Gooner, on top of that, you inflate one person's wage, right? You look at Liverpool with Salah's situation. The moment they give him 400 grand, Virgil van Dijk comes knocking. Where's my 400 grand? Then Alisson comes. Where's my 400 grand? Then you know, the next thing you know, your whole wage structure's a bit messed. So I think I'm not discrediting that there might be an element of truth in what you're saying, but I'm just saying that there is a balance and there is a other side to it that you have to look at. Yeah, like the moment you start inflating and being prepared to make those sacrifices, you have to realize it's not just the sacrifice of that one player. Yeah, it's not just going to be you paid over the odds for that player. It's going to be like you're paying over the odds for wages for all of the other players and other transfers that you make in the future, because that becomes a benchmark of how you do business.
Have to do that. The reason why you're going to do that is because for the last fucking 10 fucking years, you've been fucking playing with your balls, right? And you ain't been fucking doing anything successful. If you want a big name player at a club like Arsenal now, guess what you have to do? You have to pay over the odds, because do you have Champions League? GunnerKing, you got Champions League. You got it. You ain't got it. You got a whiff of it and you got excited. You ain't getting that shit. Wait, you got the FA Cup? What's that? You ain't got that either. Well, you got Carabao Cup. You ain't got that either. So now when you're going to try and get a player in, much like a manager, you got to say, come to Arsenal because we got sweet fuck all. We got sweet fuck all. So then the only attraction you got is money. And the thing is, right now, I'm not saying go and spend 100 million on a player. What I'm trying to say is you didn't have to spend massive, but you should have had 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 players that you seriously, not dreamers, but you could seriously approach. Because we've got gaps in the midfield. We fucking postponed the North London derby because we had fucking injuries. We just got rid of Callum Chambers and fucking AUBAMEYANG. We didn't have a fucking a team to field against fucking Tottenham, but we're going to fucking keep cutting players, right? So you tell me, was that about saving money? What was that about? Because we got less outfield players out there, bro. It's too much money here, bro. Too much money here, bro. And everyone's saying that in we're going to spend 180 million.
Let me jump in. Let me say this, like I said in the group chat, right? I said, let me break it down, because I'm hearing a lot of different opinions, and I'm going to be frank with you. I don't give a rat's ass about other clubs. I only care about Arsenal. I don't care about Chelsea, Tottenham, all that nonsense. That's why whenever people talk about other rival clubs, I literally don't engage, because it's irrelevant to me. Don't care. It's not part of my religion. Like I said in the group chat, right? Success occurs when opportunity meets preparation, okay? And I said in the group chat that this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance for us in the position that we're currently in. If we do not get top 4 this season, we won't get top 4 for the next 5 to 10 years. I promise you that.
Bring around the rosy again.
No quibbles about us not signing a major player. But what is inexcusable for me, absolutely outrageous, is weakening the squad in the last 4 weeks. And I know they are fringe players, but what we've seen in the last 4 weeks is we have a great first team and the rebuild's going fantastically well. But we lose any of those players in the first team, the gap is catastrophic.
Bang.
The lack of quality within the squad is terrible. So the fact that you get rid of the fringe players that we do have and replace them with under 23, inexperienced young players is outrageous. 17 games or not, the fact that we've got a squad that's based of youngsters in the position that we're in is inexcusable. I don't care who we go out and sign. Let's be real about it. Tielemans, all this. You can only buy a player if the club's willing to sell people. Okay, if the club's not willing to sell, they can't buy the player. So I'm not getting my pants in the twist. If Tielemans can't come now, the club club don't want to sell him. Leicester in the same position we're in. No one's going to sell Neves. No one's going to sell Kessie right now.
You knock on the
No
door.
one's going to sell any of these players.
But you knock on the door. You knock on the door.
You
I'm
don't
saying knock on the door.
There's no conversation to be had. This is what you guys have to understand. If my house could be worth 700,000, if I'm not willing to sell, you can keep knocking all day long. I'm not willing to sell.
Tielemans' contract is almost done and dusted next season.
Absolutely.
If they could sell now. Now listen, hear me on this. They could sell right now and make more money. If I'm Leicester fucking Football Club, either I'd let Tielemans go on his ass for fucking cheap, and the next transfer window I get something for him now from Arsenal. Fuck Arsenal. And now I've got more money to spend this transfer window and the next fucking business. Yeah, if we knock on the fucking door, make a bid, it doesn't work out, at least we knocked on the door. My point is, we could have knocked on, let's knock on 50 doors. Let's have the doors ready to rumble. Let's have the plan. You're saying plan. I want a plan. I want to knock, fuck Tielemans, but have a plan. Have a knock on some doors. We've got gaps.
Have a plan. Listen, I agree with this as well, but what I don't like the idea of is I would like to have an answer the first time I knock. And like, when I'm saying that, I'm not saying that I expect people to want to come to Arsenal, because they shouldn't at this stage. Yeah. But I just feel, you know, as you go to the next door and the next door and the next door, by the time you get to the 50th door, yeah, the quality of the house isn't the same as the first house that you knocked on the door of.
Absolutely.
Yeah? And I'm just saying, I don't really feel 100% comfortable at the same time. Listen, I'm with you both. Yeah. Don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to defend the Kroenkes. I'm not trying to defend Edu. I'm not trying to defend anyone. Yeah, I want the best for this football club as well. For me, I want the best quality. I want the creme. Yeah, like, and obviously, at the same time, I'm wrestling with the fact. Yeah, the stature of the squad of the team has been depleted to a point where we can't just knock on the door anymore. Yeah, we're not just the door that knocks anymore. Yeah, the guy that knocks, yeah, to use the Breaking Bad expression, yeah, we're not Walter White out here. We're not Walter White out here. Yeah, we're like, at the moment where we are is we're on our knees in terms of, like, you know, we are pulling off, yeah, to attract top players isn't the manager relative to Spurs. They got Conte, and I know you don't want me bringing up other teams, but I feel like you have to draw parallels from who you're competing against to be able to get some perspective on what you need to do. Yeah. So if it comes to manager pool over Conte or a Moyes, who's even got more experience than Arteta, or a Ragnick, yeah, these are all the top 4 teams that we're competing with. We're not losing that. We're not winning that race. Yeah. The only pool that we've got on, say, West Ham and Tottenham is recent success and history relative to them. We ain't got that on Man United. We ain't got nothing on Man United. Not resources. So what the point I'm trying to make here is, yes, we have to be aggressive in the market, yeah, but sometimes that need to be aggressive and that need to do something can leave you overextending or being exploited. And I just feel that we need to kind of like balance both sides. Like, we need to look at both sides and see that there is another side. And that doesn't mean that we're excusing or defending what's happened in the last 10 or 15 years under the Kroenke, because we're not. It's just the reality of the way the market is.
We're doing the right thing. We're not taking on bad contracts. We're not taking mediocre players that no one else wants and giving lucrative contracts. I think it's the right thing. Find players that will improve the squad, improve them, or take them to the next level. Arsenal are doing the right thing by not signing players that we're overpaying for. We've literally have a legacy of the last 4.5 years of players that we've got 0 for, and we can't resell because of bad contracts. So the fact that they're taking a patient approach,
this is the thing.
It's a good thing. They're taking a patient approach, Tony. What do you want them to do?
£200 million has walked out the door in the last 5 years that we've spent.
These are players that.
So it's like you can have a penny wise.
Aging as well.
Go on, Tony.
I think it's good business. I ain't got a problem with the players. You know, I ain't got a problem whatsoever.
They weren't. I mean, none of them have made more than 3 appearances this season. Not one of them.
Exactly.
I don't think.
Exactly. And I am on the. Like, I was as frustrated as the next person when it comes to the deadline on transfer deadline day. Like, we got no real quality in. But this is what I want. I want us going out rushing. Mr. Vlahovic. Quick, let's go grab an Isaac. Quick, let's go grab another striker. They've clearly got a list, and there's some players that want to be go. Not at this stage of the season, and we've got nothing to play for apart from a place in in Europe in the league.
Maybe, yeah.
That's all we've got. So no one in their right mind is going to go, oh, right, are they still in Europe? Isak's not going to go, I ain't going yet. I'm still in Europe over here. Yeah, same with any other player. That's why Vlahovic went to Juventus. And plus, he's safe. That was a safe option for him because, he knows he's killing the area. So why is he going to move? He's big contract with Juve, big move in Juve. So he's going to go for that. Although the project to come to Arsenal, but the way he sees it, I completely understand it. So I honestly think they're running a risk here, and it is a risk. It's a risk they're willing to take. It's a risk that I am letting them take because if we do get to European qualification, obviously we get some more money. We go big in the summer. We give it, you get Tillerman. You get the right play in. You don't panic. Panic buy. We've seen what's happened before when we panic bought. When we lost 8-2 to Man United, look at some of the players we got in then. We signed 5 players, and you can make cases for probably 2 of them. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I'm glad that they hadn't rushed into any moves because oh no, we haven't signed anybody. They sat there go, it's a month now. We're only in the Premier League. If we can condition these players well enough, if we can get what we can out of these, this team's good enough to finish in a European spot. Yeah,
but the
our starting 11 is good enough.
To counter and to where I agree with Aussie and Travis, right, is this, right? We did need to buy someone. Yeah, and I'm not trying to sidestep around.
Didn't have to be small.
Yeah, look, ultimately
reasonable is what I'm trying to say. Give me even reasonable.
Look, the marquee signings, the more senior players in the squad, Arteta's not even done well with. Yeah, it's been the young, up and coming, hungry under 23 players. Yeah, that actually he's been more malleable to working with, and that he's got more out of. And we all know how scarcity in the market works. Yeah, when you start coming towards your prime and entering it, your value's appreciating. It's not going down. So it's lower risk. Yeah. So I feel like to chime in where I am with Aussie Gooner 100% is I agreed. I wasn't expecting, we went in for Vlahovic and it was fun and everything. And I really would have liked to have got him. But I just feel that there are emerging talents that are out there, that wouldn't have cost as much. I've been banging on about Darwin Núñez all window, and West Ham made a deadline day bid for him. Listen, you take half, of what we bid for Vlahovic. Go get him. I don't know if anyone's watched him. This guy, in terms of the profile, and the way that he plays, is very similar to Vlahovic. And if anything, he's a bit more explosive and he's got more pace. But all of the other strengths and the attribute areas where Vlahovic is strong, he's the same. There's plenty of people out there, that I think in that under 23 bracket that would have cost less, that wouldn't have really sort of put a detriment our wage structure that we could have got. That, all right, they might not be the finished article right now, but guess what? The rest of the team isn't. The rest of the team isn't. So you take the risk, on a take it on a younger player. Do you know what I mean? Because at least if it's a younger,
Ivan Toney.
Yeah. If it doesn't work with a younger player,
I like him.
All right, you send them out on loan. If it doesn't work at the end of the season, you say, you know what? On reflection, maybe it was a bit soon for you. Yeah, we're going to send you out on loan. Yeah, and then we're going to bring in the person in January who we really, the number one guy. I just feel that in any sense, particularly with both positions, striker and midfield, right? So let's look at it. You're going to lose Nketiah in the summer. You're going to lose Lacazette in the summer.
Yeah.
So you're delaying the inevitable. That it's not just going to be one striker that we need, because we got rid of AUBAMEYANG as well. So in the space of 6 months, you've lost 3 strikers. 2 were in the first team, or the main first squad players. So even if you get one now and it doesn't quite work out to plan, as I said, if you do it with a younger player who you haven't broken the bank for, you go out and get a youngster, which has been working well with anyway. I wouldn't have batted an eyelid. I would have been like, you know what? Rivals would have been like, who's that guy? What's he going to do? All this, that, and the other. They were saying the same about Ramsdale. They were saying the same about White. They were saying the same about Tommy Yasu. What are they saying about these players now? So
Edu,
why couldn't we have done the same thing?
Edu and the board, sorry to interrupt, Edu and the board have done enough to earn our trust, I think. The signings have been exceptional this last window. The last 2.5 years, maybe not.
Yeah.
But this last window, I think we can all agree they've done enough for us to say, okay, let's wait and see who you got. Because they probably got a list. Who had Tommy on the list? I've never heard of Tommy Rasclar in my life. So in the summer, they're probably going to have a list of strikers. Like you said, King, they've got a little list of young and up-and-coming players, like you said, that we probably never heard of. And they're like, summer, we're going all in. Centre midfielder, we're going all in. Because they're probably sick of Xhaka's antics too. They're probably sick of that shit. So we just have to be maybe a little bit more patient and say, let's see what they've got on that magical list that's delivered so far. Look where we are. And maybe in the summer they can do something spectacular. It's just a shame they couldn't sign anyone in January.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It really is. And like, yeah, Aussie, I don't want you to take what I'm saying as.
No, I'm not taking it the wrong way, bro. I feel you all.
I
still think we've got gaps. We've got gaps, and
we
all want four. We all want four.
Major gaps.
We all need fourth position. It's so fucking horrible that we've dropped our fucking levels to we want fourth. How pathetic it's become. Fourth is like Wenger used to say fourth was is like winning a trophy. Fucking cursed us. And do you remember that shit?
The board put him in that position.
When he said that, I was like, fucking, you're done now, mate. I wanted to tear him apart.
The thing is,
now we've dropped our levels, and like I was saying, like even an Ivan Toney, who I rate, who people talk about, they don't talk enough about. This guy, I mean, fuck Brentford. Fuck Brentford. Come to Arsenal. You know what I mean? North London. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, he's young, he's up and coming, he's got presence. He still needs to be refined. He would fit in. And to be honest, just like you were saying, Trav, was like, if he doesn't work out, we all said we need two strikers. Imagine having another striker come in with Dominic Calvert-Lewin or whatever, and having these two fight for that position. Fucking hell. Now, the problem with Arsenal is that the striker's position has always been an issue for us. Yeah, remember Giroud?
Yeah, go on, Tony.
I think Calvert-Lewin was a target. With Everton, just getting Lampard in, he was never going to let him go.
He's good, but he's made a plasticine.
Just on the loan thing,
got injured.
I think we did try, but for example, the Arthur Meadow loan thing, Juve wanted 18 months. We didn't want any part of that. So that's the reason why we missed out on that one. I just think we've been unlucky this window, like the players that we've wanted. And do you think Arteta would want Ivan Toney after seeing that video, by the way?
To be perfectly honest,
you know what I mean? So
I know it's fucking horrible, but look at what's happening in football right now, right? Everybody wants to go back in the days of the guys behind me, where these guys were class, right? But the world we live in is not class anymore. The world we live in is fucking trash. Okay? I hate to say it, it's shit. And all these kids have got their heads so far rammed up their ass, they can't see what the fucking real deal is. So as much as we want every one of our players to be a Tony Adams, sign on the dotted line, don't even look, not going to happen. The guys behind me played for the fucking badge. They were fans and they were footballers and they were getting paid. Now I want to get paid. Now I'll be a footballer, right? And then I'm going to be a celebrity. Point. And then maybe one day, after you pay me for 10 fucking years, maybe then I'll be a fan. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I think this guy's got an attitude, that guy's got an attitude. Look in the mirror, Arteta. Guess who else has got an attitude? But you're not looking there, are you, bruh? You know what I mean? Yeah. So sometimes you have to accept some shit.
I feel sorry for this fresh generation, the ones that come up to you and say, oh, yeah, I love watching Fabregas when I was growing up. And I was like, oh, you have missed it all. Oh, I feel sorry for them. I really do. Now we got this right now. Listen, I think we're taking a risk here. It's a huge risk. And it may, it's one of two things is going to happen, is that the risk is well ran or it's going to fall flat on its face. It's that simple.
Well, I tell you, what concerns
top four
me.
Is an objective.
If he wasn't backed, if he wasn't given enough dollars, and sorry to cut you off, but if he hasn't been giving enough money this transfer window, I'm not an Arteta in guy. But if he hasn't been given enough money in this transfer window, I'm not going to point the finger at him or anyone of the board. Sorry.
He's had 140 million. I mean, that's not
dude,
he
had 100. Okay. Now look at the players they got for that money, right? Which team goes out, big team, big man thing, right? Gets all those players starting line and gets it for 156. Arsenal did it, and that was great recruitment. I love that. That's shit. That's quality, man. Now that's quality. Now, if they've done so well, just like King said, back them just a little bit more and see the magic they can pull again. But if they haven't been backed and given the right amount of money, in other words, yes, go buy players, he's £30 million. You know what I mean? Like, if I give you that and I expect you to pull a rabbit out of a hat, I can't blame these people. I can't blame Arteta as much as I fucking hate the prick. I can't blame any of these guys, bro. I can't, because I ain't given them the tools to work with. I've taken them out at the fucking knees, bro. Come on.
I've always have, and I've always will go to the root cause of any problem. Yeah, like,
that's my man.
I will never, ever, 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 ever snap branches off a tree to try and uproot it. Yeah, like, I will get to the root. Yeah, and ultimately, like, I don't want to make this an Arteta whatever in or out thing. Yeah, but ultimately, we have to look at who's responsible for putting him there in the first place. Edu and Vidal, they're in the first place. Maybe their inexperience in navigating transfer markets of this nature showed. And you know what? Who would hire an intern and then blame the intern for doing an intern standard job?
Exactly.
Makes no sense. Yeah. So look, at the end of the day, I feel like we definitely 150% needed to make some additions. And I'm not trying to shirk or get away from that, but definitely there are other implications, yeah, that rash spending has had on us. I mean, like, buying Pepe, and if you look at the windows after we brought Pepe and how underwhelming they were, you know, like, you can't separate them. You can't, you know, not make the link, yeah, of how causal it is. Unfortunately, we don't live in the same reality as a Chelsea or a City and now a Newcastle, you know, where how many fullbacks did Pep buy before he eventually got it right? How many centre-backs did he buy before he eventually got it right? To still have,
5.
You know, all of those sat on his bench still, earning a wage. Unfortunately, we can't do that. I'd love for us to be able to do that. You know, it would make my life a hell of a lot easier. The reality is
this transfer window maybe shows some growth and some restraint within the club to not go out and impulse buy, because I'm sure there would have been a lot of pressure from the press and the fans to go out and sign a player, and they could have potentially disturbed the whole flow of the team and the chemistry within the team. So maybe it could be a good thing. But I've got a question I want to pose to you guys.
Yeah.
What would it take, because you don't want to uproot the trees, what would it take for you to say, Arteta, you're done out here? What would it take for you guys to say, you know what, enough's enough? What position? If he finishes 8th again, is his job, does it become unattainable? Does he have to go if he finishes 8th again?
You see, this is the problem here. I can't say. Look, you know, look, I'll be honest with you. I stick to my first statement. If he wasn't backed in this January transfer window, I can't say shit. Sorry, man. As much as I hate him, I can't say shit, bro. I can't. He could finish 10th. This is a top 6 team. All right, I said it at the start of the season. Our team is a top 6 team. I mean, we still are a top 6 team. And I'm not going to jump over the joy we're going to get top 4. But he's weakened the squad. Why he's done it doesn't make sense, right? So I'm not going to... it makes dollars. That's the only thing I can think of. And if he sits there in 6th position or 7th position, can anyone blame him? Can you blame him? If he wasn't given the dollars in this transfer window, right? Imagine I didn't give you the money. Think of it this way. I'll give Allegri or Conte this job, and I didn't give money in this transfer window. They're going to pull a rabbit out of a hat with this squad?
Yes.
I don't think so. You reckon?
No.
You reckon? No, bro. I'm sorry, man. I can't agree with you there, bro. I'm sorry, man.
Squad's on the floor.
I swear, bro. Our squad's thin, bro. And it's a good squad. Defensively, bro, great. Goalkeeper, fucking phenomenal. Midfield,
Striker.
False 9. Yeah, I can play striker, bro. I'll strike everyone, bro.
Emery played, look, put in perspective. Emery played with the same strikers, yeah, and look at the pedigree of that manager, yeah. Won multiple trophies at PSG, you know, done 3 in a row when it comes to Europa League Cups, and then done another one with Villarreal, yeah. This is a top manager that couldn't get out of these strikers. What Arteta can't. You want me to blame Arteta for that? No, I'm not doing that.
And AUBAMEYANG was better than.
On top of that, if you look at the signings, we say I find it very disingenuous when people come out and say Arteta's had 140 million. He's been back now. He's got no excuses.
Bullshit.
Because
nowhere near enough.
What you're effectively saying is the lion's share of the investment that he was given was this summer. So you're saying he's played 21 games with these new players, and if he doesn't get it right by game 38, when we all know that it takes long enough for a player to bed in, but when you're under 23, yeah, and you're trying to bed in the toughest league in the world, yeah, when you've been left to hang out to dry, yeah, from the lack of investment in January, and it's a bit disingenuous to say, well, he's been back now, he should be performing. Like, no, an experienced manager would struggle to get the sort of form that Arteta's been getting out of them, you know, for the most part, apart from the big games. Now, the other thing you got to look at, it's also disingenuous because effectively he's rebuilt the defense. He signed
got a brand new
two
defense.
midfield players, Partey and Sambi. And Sambi was signed for the future. Yeah, no. What I was going to get to with Odegaard is he's one of two of the only attacking players that Arteta signed. He signed Willian and he signed Odegaard. Willian tried, failed. What did he learn from that? Don't get Chelsea rejects. Don't get players coming to the end of their career. Start getting players when they're coming into their prime. Yeah, but if you're saying to me that I have to put a league position on where Arteta needs to finish, when effectively he's rebuilt the defense, signed two central midfielders and two attacking midfielders, of which only one is still at the club. I just think that's a bit premature. So to answer your question, if I'm going to judge Arteta, it's the same with Ollie. Ollie didn't have an excuse. And I'm sorry, I keep using rival clubs, and I know you say you don't like it, but I think it's very important to draw parallels, yeah? Ollie didn't have that excuse. He didn't have that luxury. Ollie was given a whole spine, yeah? Cavani, yeah, like Ronaldo. You go to midfield, he was given midfielders. You go to defense, he was given defenders. Yeah. So, like, he was given a spine. He was given, like, at the point that he was sacked, there is no one, not a single person, even the most staunch Ollie in person, that can tell me he didn't have his team. So for me, to answer your question, Travis, when Arteta has his team and he's still failing, he's got to go. But at the moment, he's got his defense. He's got vague semblances of his midfield, and he definitely doesn't have his attack. Definitely doesn't. So I don't want to judge him until he has that, because this is how well he's been doing with just having rebuilt a defense. He has won a trophy.
Give me a damn league position.
He didn't even have his squad altogether.
Give me a league position.
I'm not giving you one. I'm telling you, I won't do it this season. Like I told you, like when I can look at his team and say from the front to the back here, that is his team, that's when I'll come out with the league positions. You know, until then, I don't think it's fair. I also, not only do I not think it's fair, I don't think it's helpful, because if you bring another manager in midway through a rebuild, that manager is going to have a different sense of direction, different ideas, a different vision. Guess what he starts doing? What Arteta's been doing now, ripping up the old manager's vision, culling on all the players of the old manager just because they play for the old manager and their regime. Guess what that does? That takes us even further backwards. Do you see what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying, but let me give you my point of view and let me break it down. I think you'll think I'm being a little bit harsh on Arteta, and I'm not his biggest fan, and I'm going to tell you why. Let me break it down for you. I feel like after 2.5 years, this is his team. He re-signed Xhaka, he re-signed AUBAMEYANG, he signed Willian. This team is his legacy.
Yeah,
the way he has alienated. Let me finish. He has alienated and marginalized so many players within this team to the detriment of the team, in my opinion. He's got players like Pepe that are just on the peripheral for no apparent reason. AUBAMEYANG's been absolutely deemed surplus to requirements when you've got two strikers that have scored 3 goals. He insists on playing a player who's been proved to be a liability in Xhaka. He perseveres with players that are underperforming when other players that have 1 or 2 bad games, AZ Maitland-Niles or Sambi, get frozen out for large periods of time. The Premier League table does not lie. And at the end of the season, after having a significant investment, the most of any other manager in the Premier League, if he fails to get top 6 and there's no real improvement year on year, he does not deserve to be at the club. We are an elite club. We are one of the biggest clubs in England. True or false? You've told me yourself, we have to compare to other managers. No other team will be satisfied with finishing 8th 3 years in a row. No other team.
No one said they would be satisfied, but no, ultimately, very few other teams would not back you in January. And as I said, very few other teams would wait until you're halfway into your managerial tenure to actually substantially back you. So you referenced this summer. Go back to the previous summer. Go back to the previous January. Go back to the one before that. In the 2.5 years, you tell me of a time before this summer when you can truly say he was backed. Was he back from the beginning? Is that what you're saying to me? The extent to which he was backed at the beginning matched the extent to which he was back this summer? Because the answer is no. No.
But we know the dilemma. They've made it perfectly clear. Arteta and Edu have said this is a legacy of previous regimes. We've had to get out a lot of the dead wood. He understood that when he took the role.
And
he knew that
yeah, but
it was going to be a total rebuild.
I don't think we understood that.
Well, it wasn't my fault.
No, what I'm saying is I don't think we understood that. We didn't really understand how bad this squad really was. That's what I'm trying to say to you. Yeah? It was that bad. Like, you go back to the Rioch era. You go back to the Rioch era. I could take some people from Bruce Rioch's era and put them into that squad. That's how bad it was. For me, yeah, what came to light when Arteta came in is we walked into that situation eyes wide shut. We thought changing Emery would change everything. Guess what? It didn't. We thought changing Wenger would change everything. Guess what? It didn't. Of the 11 players that played in the 5-0 defeat against Manchester City at the Etihad, 8 of those were Wenger players. Not good enough. Yeah. So they've survived the end of Wenger. They've survived the whole of Emery. Yeah. I've kind of reached this point now, yeah, where there's only so much I can believe, yeah, because it is like they're spinning a yarn, yeah, because what they're doing is they want the manager to be the full guy. They want you to focus on the manager, yeah, so that you're not focusing on the owner, yeah. All they will do is bring in another yes man. I promise you. All they will do. Why do you think we never go for top managers? Because they don't want to be malleable to the demands of a Conte. They don't want to be malleable to the demands of an Allegri. You want to know why? Because they'll tell them go fish. And I don't like that. You
acknowledged it yourself with that response. We never go after a top manager, and we don't have one now. That is the point I'm trying to make. You said it yourself. We never go after a top manager. So when Arsene Wenger
does nothing with that squad,
say the extra season, right?
Top manager does nothing with that squad.
2016, but this is what I'm saying.
Exactly. When top manager doesn't change the inadequacies of that squad. It just doesn't. He doesn't. I don't care who he is.
Say that to Klopp. He inherited garbage.
When he was back to take the trash out. At the same time, he was back to take the trash out.
They should have put. Imagine Klopp when he became available. You have to go for the best manager when they become available. I truly believe
what I'm asking you to do is go back to my previous question, Travis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you compare the way that Klopp was backed from the beginning of his managerial career? Can you compare that to the way that Arteta was backed in the beginning? Are you really going to try and do that? There's context to what you're saying, brother. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, Klopp is the most comparable to Klopp I can think of is Arsene Wenger, because what they had to do, they had to sell players to buy players, sell players to buy players. So you have to take a big hit on your best performances to raise the funds. And the difference is, unlike any other Arsenal manager in modern history, Arteta's been given the keys to the kingdom. He's been given cash because we've not raised anything. Unlike any other Arsenal manager, this is what made Arsenal so special.
He got given cash after 2 years because the board realised what they should have realised 2 years prior. The squad wasn't good enough, and the immediate the immediate care that the squad needed, that we got this summer, was 2 years too freaking late. And that sets backwards. Maybe an experienced manager comes in and makes that less obvious, but actually that would be worse for us, because if a manager comes in, a more experienced one, makes it less obvious, what does this board start thinking? Oh, we don't need to give you 150 million because you're doing just fine getting the most out of these mediocre players. Yeah. So there is, again, another side to it. Yeah. Sometimes things have to crash and burn and break before you can fix them and put them back together. If you don't realize something's broken, you're never going to fix it. It shouldn't have taken the Kroenkes 2 years to put this much money in his pocket, but it did.
Let me tell you one thing.
And now you want me to give you a league position on where Arteta should finish when he's had less than 6 months to work with these under 23-year-olds. And by some miracle, he's got them in a top 4 race.
Listen, Arteta's legacy will be comparable to Frank Lampard. He will be the man that has heralded change, and he'll bring the transition, and he'll bring through generational players. Thank you for bringing Smith Rowe. Thank you for giving us Saka. And that will be his legacy. And then he'll pass the keys to the kingdom to an elite manager who will put us where we need to be. But he will not be the man to take us there. You heard it here first.
So let me counter that point again, Travis. Look what Vlahovic did in the transfer window. Yeah, we offered him terms. Yeah. What did he say? More attractive propositions on offer. I want someone that's competing in Europe. You don't think managers do the same thing?
Exactly. When you're getting a manager, you got to buy
him.
So
if we try to get a manager now, how many Vlahovic's do you think we will have, but managers instead of players?
All of them.
So what you're saying about the legacy building is correct. But Lampard, the difference, the reason Chelsea could attract a Tuchel is because Tuchel looked at that squad and from front to back, he saw quality. Yeah. He saw Mendy and Kepa in goal. Yeah. He saw Azpilicueta, James, right back options. He's Rudiger, Thiago Silva, Alonso, like all these quality. I could go on and on and on, and that makes it easy. Yeah. But right now, if we try to get a manager, it's probably going to be closer to being a lateral move than with Chelsea's situation, where it was an upward move. You see the difference?
Okay. Can I answer Travis's question, please?
Go for it.
That's my answer. Let me watch this first. Then I'm movements. Simple. Because right now, he's got nothing to work with. Anything now between now and the end of the season isn't on the manager the way I see it. And I think Arsenal have taken a look at what happened post-Fergie. Look how long it's taken them to... Well, they were supposed to be challenging for the title this season. How's that going for them? All they've done since Fergie's gone is they've changed managers. They've lobbed loads of money. Loads of money. The kind of money you're talking about. Has it worked out for them? Not the answer.
And they brought in experienced managers. They brought in top managers.
Gums up.
Yeah, they have.
Exactly.
And it changed
Gums,
nothing.
Welcome to the therapy.
Gums, what you saying? What you saying? Gums, you've got something to say. I can see it.
Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Beautiful.
I'll be real. I'm in the middle of both of you are saying, and I understand both points 100%. I've always said, Travis, Arteta might not be or should be the right guy to get us to that promising land, but he's definitely going to leave this team in a better position than how he found it. So that's why I agree with both of you. I also agree with you, Travis, where if he doesn't get sixth, then to me that's a failure this season. I hear what King's saying about the rebuild. He has been given money, but again, if you look at what he's had to get rid of, it's a lot he's had to do. But at the same time, you still got to manage them expectations. And this is what me and Canners, who's on the stream the other day when I brought up the question, say, do you class it as progress if we get a higher league position with less points, or more points on the board but a lower league position? And that's where, for me, you measure the progress. If he comes out with more points, and just say he gets 7th place, but with 10 more points than he did last year, then that's progress because we've got more points. But it's just unfortunate the teams above us perform better than us. Whereas if we could get top 6 with less points, and that's actually not us progressing, that's probably other teams have had a worse season. And I use Man United as the analogy. They came second by default last year. What that did, that set them up with a full sense of security. They were only second because Liverpool had that bad dip with player injuries. And Chelsea had Lampard at the start of the season. So Man United had an okay season, but it finished them in second place. So they now think, well, we're 2-3 players away from a title challenge. You've got the 3 players, but Liverpool have improved again. Chelsea are back to where they should have been, and City have maintained it. And now United are in the top 4 race with us and Tottenham. So there has to be an element of reasoning, but at the same time, we've got to meet expectations at the same time. He got away with it last season. So this is where he had his grace period, because obviously first season he came in and he kind of just gelled it back together, got an FA Cup. Second season was, we're going to allow you to kind of rebuild, have a look at what you want, get rid of what you don't want. But that's your gimme. You're not having that again, in my opinion. Like,
facts.
We've backed you with Guendouzi, we backed you with Willian, with David Luiz. We backed you now with AUBAMEYANG. We backed you with Ozil.
Guendouzi was brought by Emery.
Yeah, no. When I mean back,
getting rid of him,
getting rid of him. You've had this fallout of Guendouzi. We're backing you to say, and again, we needed that because there's too much player power in football, and that stems from, we see it with Chelsea. That's right, we could fall out with this manager because we'll be here longer than the manager will be here. What Arsenal have done is the right thing to say, actually, no player is bigger than the manager, which is what it was like with Wenger and Ferguson. Whenever Fergie had a problem with a player, the board, it's not even a question. The board is saying straight, Fergie's our man, you've got to go. And that's changed in football. So we've seen players time and time again down tools, knowing the manager will be the first one to go, and then a new manager comes in and I can then raise my game again. So I agree with the board. I'm glad the board have backed Arteta to say, if any player is not meeting the standards, then actually you've got the right to kind of manage that situation.
That's a great point. That's a really great point. They backed him in that sense as well.
Yeah, they've really backed him, because again, this whole AUBAMEYANG thing, really honestly, a lot of other clubs might be getting involved, saying there's no way you've got our top earner, the fan favourite. There's no way, captain. No, we're not allowing you to treat him this way. Whereas again, they backed him and said, all right, you know what's best. So if it goes wrong, he has to fall on the sword, because again, if they were micromanaging him, then I can get it. But they've allowed him that reign. They've even changed his job role. His first season, remember, he came in as head coach, and then they've changed him to manager. So he's more involved in transfers, all of that side of things. So again, Emery, go on.
King's
I've got to head out. Yeah.
King,
thanks for coming on, bro.
Take it easy, guys. Yeah, love it. Love to everyone on the panel.
Pleasure.
It's all love, like whatever, like, you know. Like,
link up soon.
Yeah.
We love the therapy.
So what it's about. It's what it's about. Cheers, King, mate. Gumza, go on, carry on, mate.
Yeah. So I can't remember what I was saying, but yeah, no, I think he's been given. There's been Emery wasn't allowed that freedom that Arteta's had. Emery was told he's head coach. We're bringing the players in. You work with them. Again, you have to go through these things to see it doesn't work. Like, again, if I'm a manager, I've got my system. I know the players I like, so you can't bring in them players for me. I get the premise of it, of players are going to be there longer than a manager, but if my system is, and what you've seen with Pep Guardiola, you've seen it with Tuchel, this is my system. Conte's
sorry, guys.
A 5 at the back
guys.
system.
Sorry. Peace
Travis,
out.
love.
Link up soon.
Wonderful
Yeah.
to see. It's great.
Yeah. So Conte's system is a 5 at the back system. So if the board is saying we're bringing in these players to play a 4-4-2, that's going to go against what the point of having Conte. Do you know what I mean? So I agree. We've tried things, and there's no wrong in trying and getting it wrong. And again, if you look at United have tried the same thing 10 times and it keeps failing. So I'm happy with trying, making mistakes and rectifying them quite quickly. It shows we have a bit more understanding board level than people give us credit for. But yeah, for me, Arteta's got to get top 6, really and honestly. Like, there's no excuse.
He should get top 6, but would you agree on this? And I know you're saying he's been backed, all right? I don't think he's been backed. Okay, I think he's been thrown into the deep end. And I know everyone's going to say, but he's got 156 million, right? Now, if he got 100, how you going, bro? Where you been, bro? You've been, look, this guy's been hiding in fucking corners in the comments and shit, doing some nasty stuff, I see.
You'll be there. I wasn't even prepped.
Hey, he came too late. Gums was like the fireman. He come in, King and Travis go at it. Gums has come along. He's put out the fire. They've gone.
That's what I'm here for. I'm not starting trouble today. I'm not starting trouble.
Love that. I'm like,
it's therapy.
I was going to be in the private chat, but now you just killed me. All right, come on, let's go. Let's go. Come on.
So you reckon he's been back?
It's therapy.
He's been back with 156 million, right? So the
No,
way I see it,
I know what you're saying with money. Okay, go on, go.
No, not even like I look at it, I say 156, and I'm not Arteta in. I'm fucking Arteta. Fuck off. But I'm saying 156, right? The players that he got, and the recruitment was fucking wonderful. Not many other teams are going to do what we did, right? And every single player that we got in, we can all agree, it's been decent. You got to give them credit. I mean, all good. Even Sambi, all of them have been great. So with that in hand, I look at that and I say 156. When I saw the 156, I said, that's just the tip of the iceberg, because to be perfectly honest, it should have been about 230 or 240 all fucking day, right? So when I saw that, I went, okay, I'm now fucking seeing Wenger days. Now, I know everyone's like, Wenger days? Yeah. We need 4 players, we get 2. We need 5 players, we might get 2.5. And I saw that. But the good thing we got a lot of quality. So I thought maybe this transfer window will make some smart moves to strengthen the squad in certain areas just to solidify the team. But we did fuck all. So the way I see it is, I know everyone's going to go on Arteta, even though I'm on him too. If he hasn't been back, that means if he didn't, and this is why everyone can say Arteta out, but it won't be him going anywhere, because the management or the owners know how much they actually gave him, how much real money they gave him, not the money that we saw in the mirror, the real money. And that's why he's not going to be able to pull a rabbit out of a hat when Kroenke goes, here's January transfer window where everything's jumped up by 30% and we're only going to give you £50 million. You're going to do with 50 million. You know, you ain't going to get you're not going to get the best. You're going to get half decent. So if we've taken him out at the knees, not giving him the right amount of money, then it's not right to judge him. He should get top 6, but I'm going to allow slack, not because of him, because of the bastards that own this bloody club, right? Sabotaging another manager and making us all look at him and say Arteta out, when you should all be saying Kroenke out. Mate, I'm telling you, these two, father and son, one of them looks like he's from Bram Stoker's Dracula. The other one looks like a used car salesman.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. I love it. Steve
going nowhere.
No holds barred, man. I love that.
I would say that, you know, be excited.
Look at him. And have you seen him lately? He looks like he come out of that Dracula movie with Brad Pitt and friggin' Tom Cruise. You know what I mean? With the long hair and shit. It's like, what's next? You know what I'm talking about?
Was it Doctor Strange?
Yeah, he was a strange bad from Avengers. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Is Ozzy frozen there? Flipping heck.
Yeah, he's frozen. That's Doctor Strange watching him, isn't he? He's just sent into another portal.
Kroenke. It's Kroenke. It's the Kroenke effect. Kroenke.
That's brilliant. But no, I hear you.
Do you know what though? I take all.
My good or on my shit?
The thing is that I take all the arguments on board. What you know, everyone's been talking about, but I just feel like
Josh, who's the problem, James?
I don't think the Kroenkes are the problem at this. With I think there's been a shift in what they've done, right? I think there's been a shift in what ever since the whole Spotify thing come out, you know, the European Super League or whatever. I think there's been a massive shift in their approach to the actual club. I think they've been they've eaten some humble pie in the sense that, do you know what, we cannot run this English football club the way we run our franchises back in the States. And I believe that the money what they gave Arteta, okay, and what Gums has spoke about in terms of the way that they're backing him with getting rid of Ozil, backing him with getting rid of Guendouzi, all that kind of stuff. They're giving him, you know, carte blanche to do what he feel, giving him the tools, I believe, to kind of succeed. Now, also what came out with the whole AUBAMEYANG thing, they gave him 7 mil. So we paid for him to leave. It's because we gave him an extra 7 mil. So obviously Arteta's been backed and says, look, we need to get him out. He's got no future with us as a club. Obviously, I don't know, whatever must be in his contract or whatever it is for him to go on a free transfer or to, I don't know what because I think if he hands in a transfer request or whatever, then he probably won't get that kind of sweetener. But
he won't get the bonus,
such was the fact that Arteta wanted him out. They've paid for him to leave. Now that would not have been sanctioned by anyone else but the board. So they've backed him with that. And I just feel that with the window and the way it's gone, I don't think the Cronkies have anything to do with that window. What they do have to do with that window is the fact that they've employed the people in charge. That's the point where they're culpable with. Okay, so but with Arteta, Vinay, and Edu dealing with all the player incomings and outgoings and everything, they're the guys in immediate control of our playing staff and what happens on that pitch. That's where I am with it. I think the Cronkies have probably had a stay of execution until the summer and see what happens. But ultimately, Arteta right now, he needs to get results on that pitch. And with what he's done throughout this the January window just gone, with not getting bodies in, whether or not, I don't know, it could be done. We don't know the ins and outs, but to me, it just seems like a bit borderline neglect. I don't think it was money. I really don't think it was money.
Think of it this way, right? I'll look at it this way. Arsenal's net income 21 to 22 season is 440 million US. Okay, our cost for running the club, okay, just basic cost is about 47 million, down from about 100 million. All right, I'm sorry, I work in a big American company, so I start looking, and I haven't been doing this for a while. I've fucking been looking at these fuckers. So now, if we take away 47 million, stuff 47 million. Now I'm going to take away
50.
80 million. 80. Let's give them 80 million American, right? Which would be about what, with it 70 cents on a dollar, what we say about 50 million pound, right?
Yeah.
That leaves a big chunk of dollars. And you know when I said self-sustaining model, you can spend what you make? Wait a minute, didn't I just make close to 230 million pound, 240 million pound, give or take? So if I gave him one, give or take. So if I've got 156, that means I should have another 90 million in change hanging around, right? So if I've got 90 million in change hanging around, right, then he should have been maybe allocated. Remember, whatever you make, you can spend. But the problem here is, what most people don't understand is that Kroenke actually takes money out of Arsenal, but no one knows that. He actually takes money out of Arsenal. Yeah. So then most people sit there and say, "Oh no, he leaves it all there." No, he takes money out of Arsenal.
But those accounts, what you just wheeled off there, with the Cronkies taking the money, that's all included, because obviously you would have done the balance sheets, right?
That's net income, and this is club. So this is net income of what Arsenal take in. This is what Arsenal takes in as a whole. There's now it's only $47 million in costs to run the club, and I'd say about 80. But then the Cronkies then have that net income in their pocket. It's not with Arsenal; it's in the owner's pocket. So whatever's left is up for them to leave to this club. Now, with them investing heavily in the NFL with the Rams and this and that, almost going to win the Super Bowl, right? Yeah. Maybe they can thank Arsenal for that. Because the thing is that most people understand is, remember, Kroenke said it, I didn't buy Arsenal to win trophies. Remember that? Don't forget that. That's still valid. He hasn't come back and said, I want Arsenal to win trophies. He hasn't said that once. He said, I didn't buy Arsenal to win trophies. So you bought Arsenal so you can make money to put it into the NFL and then win trophies. That's the thing. And I look at the dollars and cents of it all, and I reckon at the moment that Arteta maybe wasn't backed in this transfer window like he should be, because any manager that is backed heavily can make moves. Or some
just moves, quickly, just with that, like you're saying, the extra bit of money left over, the 90 mil, we're going to just focus on that 90.
Well, it's not 90, that's 90, I'm saying costs. Because it was actually, I took it was 47 mil for our apparently running costs, right? And I turned that, I took that 47 and said, let's make that 90. So from the 440 odd, I'll pull 90 from that. The change that's left over is what's in the kitty.
Yeah, but you got to take into account last year there was hardly any income from fans, right?
Yeah, but the previous year was 400 million.
Yeah,
and the previous year to that was nearly 500 million.
That,
I think
there's
you
gonna
want me to
be,
give you all the numbers, bro. But
all
our
good,
costs
it's all
were
good.
higher back then. We were actually our running costs were higher. They've slowly come down. That's one thing that's a positive. But is it? So we've come down in costs.
The thing is, with business, isn't it? Like, it's to be expected. We're not expected. I'm sure Liverpool run the same kind of models as I'm sure their owners
definitely.
make some money out of it. But it's, for me, I do think there was money available. And I also do think Arsenal didn't pull, like Arteta and Eddie, for whatever reason, didn't go and get some of the targets. And I think it was the inflation cost. Again, we're talking about what Cannons is saying. If players want to forego their bits of bonus, if they want the bonus, they have to kind of sit quiet and just get a transfer bid accepted. The moment they come out and start saying, I want to leave, all of a sudden you're missing out on 5 to 10 mil, whatever it is. Yeah. So I feel the clubs played hardball, so we're not selling in January. And Arsenal, to then get them players released, have to pay over the odds. And I think they said, we're not doing it this year. We've got enough within what we've got. We're sitting top 4, roundabout, depending on games in hand, up to this period after a 3-game start where we didn't have the players in. And we've got ourselves in that position. So I think they're probably thinking, we don't need to jump just yet. Imagine spending an extra 40 mil on transfer on 2 players. That's now another player. And equally with the outgoings, again, this is just very, very, very basic analytics. If we looked at 600,000 a week, we're probably saving with the players that have gone in this window. You multiply that by 20 weeks, because about 20 weeks left of the season, obviously including international breaks and the rest of it.
I'm looking at that comment. Right.
You're talking, that's a 12 million saving on them wages alone. So now,
and that's what we've been doing slowly. We've been slowly,
and that's basic. Costs. Yeah. So just for these players that just left this window, just basic. This is with no goal bonus, no clean sheet bonus, no assist bonus, no win bonus. You're talking 12 mil. So imagine you put all the bonuses in as well. Now you're talking 15,
parents' fees as well for the likes of AUBAMEYANG, all of that.
Yeah. So you're talking real basic. You're talking real basics. So by letting them players go in January rather than in the summer, that might buy you Jed Spence. So now, if you've got a big budget of 150 mil in the summer, you haven't even got to worry about Jed Spence, because actually the money we save from them 6 leaving at Christmas covers Jed Spence. So now I've still got 150 to buy on all the other targets as well. So it's just those little things. As I said, I do think the budgets are budget of, this is your 3-year budget, rather than this window you got 220, next window you got 60, then you got 80. I think it's very much meticulous planning. I think it's very much, they know what they want to get. They know the process. Like you said, Chris King says it all the time. We sorted defense first, then we're going to start moving in other areas. And again, I think that's because Arteta knows he's got a bit longer in the job than we probably know. So he knows he can actually plan his transfer window like that, rather than saying, I need a midfielder, I need a striker, I need a left back, and going crazy. He knows, okay, I can focus on this. Let's improve this. Right, we get to top 6. Now we improve the attack. All of a sudden, now that's 6. If we jump from 8 to 6, 6 to 4th in 2 years, that's exactly what the board are looking for. And again, it's a bit like NFL. NFL don't go and try and improve the team to win the team in one window. You actively see NFL teams throwing away the season to get a better draft pick. And I'm not saying England's a bit different, but their mindset might be like that, where
they think a slow build. They think about the longer picture, and I think that's one of the things that we probably have not done here, in the sense that
Silver Fox is going to tell me that Rams got no draft picks next season.
Sorry,
Silver Fox is going to say something about the draft picks for Rams next season.
Right, no, I was just going to say that. I mean, yes, I do think we're a little bit threadbare. I think we should have got at the very least one player in.
On loan, definitely, yeah.
But I think if you peek it and you look at it, we've got games at least a week, at the very least a week between every single game coming up. There's only really, I think, a couple of the rearranged fixtures where it gets a little hairy. But if we keep away from suspensions and
injuries,
big injuries, I think
number 34.
The plan is to keep the 11 that we which we know is our strongest 11 going. The only issue with the rotation, what you'd probably see from our first 11, is whether it's Smith Rowe or Martinelli. But the rest of the 11 picks itself.
It picks itself, yeah. Well, and this is the first time in a long time we've had an 11 for me that picks itself. And before, when you're picking players, it wasn't about he's better than the other one. It was about he's shite, so I take him.
And the beauty of that is that you can absolutely 100% pick players on form. Do you know what I'm saying? If you're not performing, then someone else can come in. And I think most of the players that we have now in certain positions, there is, apart from the centre midfield, there is that little bit of a drop off, yes. But everywhere else, I think we're kind of covered. I think
as long as it's not too long term. I agree with that.
But enough to give the person who's got the shirt to say to themselves, if I'm not performing, I could get dropped here. You know, I've got a stake right now to play for the rest of the season, and that should be their target, and that should be the player's mindset. And I think these players do have that mindset, and they've demonstrated that. I think from the off, really. Well, after game 3, I should say. I don't know. I'm more positive than I was on 11:05 on January the 31st. I'm just not blaming
Arteta. I'm just not blaming Arteta. I'm not blaming.
No.
I'm not on Arteta. I can't blame him. I think if he fucks up this season, honestly, nobody can blame him for that. I can't blame him. I can't. It's not. I hate to say it.
It's hard. The reason he has to take some, just say it's a lack of goals that is the problem from now. Just say we can clean sheets every game, but there's a few games we draw 0-0. But not even that. I'm saying if we don't score, we're going to look back at the Aubameyang treatment, and that's where he has to take some responsibility. And that's the one he's going to fall on.
Aubameyang banging goals in Spain.
Well, he will score. He will score in Spain. But again, the problem was the lack of creativity. But if we start drawing 0-0 a lot and we're not scoring, because again, I'm not saying Abba should be starting ahead of Laka, but again, when you're bringing on Nketiah instead of bringing on Aubameyang, then people are going to question it. And again, that's the one reason why Arteta will get questioned at the end of the season if we don't hit our targets, is because you've got rid of a proven goal scorer. Yes, he had a bad 18 months, but we've all seen players could have a dip, and all of a sudden, just that coming out of the first team, coming on for 15-20, all of a sudden that might change his whole game. So, yeah, and that's where he will get judged.
Permanent. You know how it is.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you could question him for right there. But for me, I look at it and I honestly don't believe that he's been backed for him to get top 4 this season, I always said would be an overachievement. And if he pulls it off, good on him. I still think it's a top 6 team, but I can't judge him too harsh because I don't think there was enough when it came to this January. That's it. Yeah. And I hate Arteta, but all I can say is that right now I can't hammer him.
I love Steve. I love the way Steve just gives it. I love that.
I can't do it, bro. Like, I can't be a prick.
Hey, listen. The Cronkies.
I got to shoot out there.
They care. Gamza, thanks for coming on, bro.
Yeah, sorry, boys. Cheers. I'm going to catch you next week. I'm going to empty out my schedule. I'm here. I'm here for it.
Yeah, you do.
Love you, lot.
You do that, bro.
So this is why this is a mad show. Seriously, because we can just go at it and fucking free for all.
I'll tell you why the Cronkies must care. Yeah, but this is what it's about. It's therapy. It's drop in, drop out. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Cronkies, they wouldn't give us Austin Trusty. Give us their best player.
Listen,
so I care a little bit.
Do you know what? physically, this guy looks like a bit of a beast. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay. I like the look of him. I do like the look of him.
I did. Look, I know you can't scout a player properly on YouTube. I've looked at him, but you got to watch how the player positions themselves and etc. etc. On YouTube. Yeah, every player, even I look great on YouTube. Do you know what I mean?
The right angle. Not from the left side, from the right.
Exactly,
from the right.
Exactly. Don't put anything with my right foot on it. Nothing with my right foot. But look, he's highly thought of there. And look, the only thing is that he's not a US international. So listen, let's see how that one goes. Apparently, we're not going to be. I think he's going out on loan when he comes to us or whatever.
So he comes here and get fuck off.
Yeah. Because the thing is, though, I don't know how true it is, but have you guys heard the stories about Saliba and Real Madrid?
No, don't tell me that. I heard bits and pieces of it.
I've heard whispers.
Yeah.
I don't want him going.
I'm telling you now, Saliba's going. He's gone.
You can't blame him because he's half decent and he's been thrown around like a rag doll.
No. He's wanted to go on loan to France. Don't give him any sympathy. I ain't giving him no sympathy. He's wanted to go back.
Well, if he's not going to get game time, yeah.
I'm going to get a lot of hate for it. I'm going to get a lot of hate for that, but that's the way I see it.
You just want Rob Holding to get more game time, mate. You're biased, mate. You saw Saliba leave. You said yes for Holding. That's what you did. Yeah, so you're going to argument, have you?
No. Austin. No, listen. In Austin, I trust thee. All right.
Hey. But look, just this one from Oh, sorry. I was just going to pick up on this.
Yeah.
And do you know what? The thing is that is such because how does that work? Because Colorado Rapids is Kroenke's team, right? Yeah. How the hell does it all work? I mean, there's got to be some shenanigans there or something. I mean, isn't there kind of like some kind of what's the word?
They're a feeder team for Arsenal.
Yeah, but is it all?
They finished top of the MLS. It's all good.
Is Kroenke allowed to own? Isn't it like a conflict of interest or anything like that?
No. Let's see. In Australia,
different federations,
Melbourne. You know Manchester City. They own a team here in Australia called Melbourne City. They were called Melbourne Hub, but when they bought them, they called them Melbourne City. And so now Melbourne City is a feeder team for
feeder team, yes, but do the owners of Man City own Melbourne City?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, and New York City.
And New York City.
New York City as well.
Okay. I didn't think that was allowed.
Oh no, you can't. It's just you can't imagine you can't have Man City and Man United and own both of them because then you can start betting in that and do what Jacka does, yellow cards and shit.
Different continents.
Let's put some money down the Man United City game. What's it going to be? A draw.
Yeah. Oh my God! Could you
there's something. There's dodgy,
Oh dear.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
I think we brought up some good points in this in this show, honestly. And I think everybody's points have been valid, honestly.
Yep.
Been called out here, haven't I?
What's this?
Ooh. James is on ya.
Saliba stays.
I'll think about it.
Oh, he's doing this.
Yeah, he's waiting for some more news. I mean, listen, he is a talent. I hope he does stay. And again, if you do make Europe,
he's going to go. He's going to go.
Look,
listen. Yep. I was just saying, if we make Europe, we're going to need, players with, the quality of Saliba to step in.
Actually, I think Armoury, have we?
Gabriel and Ben White are probably a number one partnership. And then it will be maybe Saliba and another who. So ideally, we'd want four, isn't it? Really,
you want, and that's where you'd have to hold on to Holding. No shit, you'd have to hold on to him just as a squad player.
Sure.
I mean, you would do that.
Was our best defender last season.
Oh, don't start this shit. And the other thing is, we've still got Guendouzi floating around, right? And he's going to be coming back.
Do you think I thought that he had a mandate?
It depends on the Marseille situation, doesn't it?
I think the Marseille situation.
Have they actually got a ban?
I think they've got a ban. I think that they can't transfer. They can't.
But I heard that ban doesn't interfere with this particular deal because of when it was done.
Well,
so I think he's gone.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If he's gone, he's gone. But if he doesn't go, I was saying to people, I go, look, he's the kind of player that could be someone if his attitude changes. Yeah. If his attitude changes, and look, you can have an attitude when you are someone, but not when you're not someone. You know what I mean? So, if his attitude changes, he could be a great player.
I mean, to tell the truth, right now, I wouldn't mind seeing or having the prospect of Guendouzi and Partey.
See, that's what I'm saying. But a Guendouzi who's there to play football and not bullshit.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, so there you go. So James is saying it. Yep. Cool. So
he would know, right?
Yeah. And James was talking about we spent 250 million in 2 seasons. James, our net income for those 2 seasons was the same as this one, 440 and 400 million. Put that together, and we spent biscuits.
Wow.
And if you take out James, we're talking numbers.
And if we take out 100, and if I take out 100 million, 115 million either season for costs of running the club, we could turn it to 600 million. So the 250 out of 600, you spent a 30-year income. Where'd the rest go? I mean, if some came to me, I'd be happy.
Put in during the pandemic.
Wait a minute. I think, yeah, I'm taking massive. If I take out that season and the previous seasons, we hit 440. We hit 440, 410 the previous seasons. Okay, the pandemic, of course, went out the window. This season, we've hit another 420. So if you add all that up, you can add that up and you can see what we've made. And if you want, I can tell you about previous seasons. Arsenal was actually averaged about over 400 mil for about 5 seasons, 5 or 6 seasons. Big money, man.
Wow. I don't know if that makes any
we'll
sense,
see.
whether we are, whether we're not. See. I don't know. Be interesting, because if we are, then what the hell?
We've still got to pay off for Saliba. We have to still pay off all this stuff, but that's all payments. So we pay trickles and trickles and trickles of it. Like most of the debts that we have, and he's just mentioning this 400 million in debt. We could have, James said, debt that we have there, we could have paid that off like that, but we're not. We're paying off slowly because Kroenke set it up in with banks and yada, yada, yada. We could pay that off in 2 seasons without a problem. That's if Kroenke doesn't take money out of Arsenal to pump into his other clubs. But that doesn't happen. Arsenal, remember.
He doesn't. We make good money.
He
agrees that we should spend money. So
we make good money. Arsenal makes good money. We do good as a club. We really do.
Yep.
It's just we don't get to see all of the hard-earned money for Arsenal. The problem is it does go offshore, and that's what's horrible. Like I sit there and say, we got this self-sustaining model. Okay, leave us alone. Let us sustain ourselves. But that's when Kroenkes are coming in, and they are nitpicking at our dollars and cents. They're not saying it, but they are. Because 100 million, 150 million doesn't just disappear. You know what I mean? That's a fair few friggin' dollars. And
hey, listen. Maybe you don't know what's around the corner. The Rams are in the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is in LA. The Colorado Avalanche are going to win the Stanley Cup in the NHL. They've MLS in the league in the regular season. They've got a lot of money coming in. They've got WrestleMania there next year as well. So hopefully we get a lot of money coming from that, and things are going to be different in the summer.
Maybe they can leave our money alone, and we can have our money. Just we don't want money. We keep.
That'd be nice.
That'd be nice. Fucking great.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Oh,
guys,
God.
So are we going to be supporting the Bengals or the LA Rams in the Super Bowl? I don't want to see him win.
I want to see Kroenke. I want to see Kroenke, and he's friggin' like every time I see Kroenke, I look at him. I think his lips are just getting bigger and bigger. It's like he's been kissing so much ass for that money from Walmart. You know what I mean? So he can pump money into NFL and all this, and stealing money from Arsenal. And I wonder. I just think, could I see him cry a little bit? Because I don't want him to see him happy. He doesn't come to any Arsenal games. He doesn't come to anything like that. I want to see him. I want it to be close. I want the Rams to lose by like 2 points, just so he can really feel it. I don't want the Rams to win. Yeah, I want him to be sitting on his edge, thinking, "We got this," and then it's like 2 points.
Guys, I'm gonna have to jet. It's been.
We're good. We're gonna call it a day now.
Yeah.
Session over.
Session over. I tell you what.
Done and dusted.
Invoice in the post, yeah.
yeah, straight to Kroenke. He'll just write us a check.
It's been great. It's been great, and this is exactly what we were after. Exactly what I mean. It's therapy. You drop him whenever you like, and leave when you've got to go. Drop him.
That's it.
Clinic. The clinic.
Excellent.
More of the same next week. Anyway, if you've enjoyed watching this, please do hit the likes, subscribes, and all that.
100%.
Follow all of us on Twitter. We're there. We're here. We're there. We're everywhere. Until the next, it's been great fun, boys.
It's been emotional.
And I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to end the broadcast there. Peace out.